Hi everyone. I just wanted to take some time to talk to you about secondary sources and APA, just because I know that I've noticed just seeing this a bit in everybody's work, and I know that was kind of a struggle for me when I was in grad school. The reason why I'm sitting here like this is I am on vacation. My daughter's sleeping. This is one of the rooms in our vacation place, and this is the only place I get internet, so you'll have to see me hanging out here. Okay, so we are in the midst. We just started week 5. I finished grading week 3 stuff and week 4 discussions. And I wanted to take just a quick bit of time to discuss secondary sources. So, all right, I forgot my APA book. I always say that's the most accurate reference to use. I know it pretty much by heart. So, secondary sources. So, for example, many of you guys are reading using your text as support when you write, which is actually discouraged. When I was in graduate school, we weren't allowed to use your textbook. You can use it sparingly, only because it takes away from the support and legitimacy of what you're writing. Now, because a lot of these are assignment-like, using the textbook every once in a while is helpful, but the more sources that you use, the better support you have, and the different understanding and thorough your synthesis of the concepts are going to be for you. So, first things first, don't use any type of reference material such as dictionaries, encyclopedias. Those are not scholarly resources for you, okay? Secondary sources. So, for example, many of you guys mentioned Cotter's work. That's a secondary source because you heard about Cotter's work through Borkowski. Well, here's the deal. Secondary sources need to be used sparingly, and that doesn't mean you can't mention Cotter's work. Oftentimes, you need to find evidence on Cotter's work yourself, the original article, and read it yourself. That is going to add more legitimacy, okay? Now, there's some reasons why you're not going to use it, and I'll go over that with you guys in a minute. But if you do, this is how you are going to cite it. So you list the source the work was discussed in. So, in your reference page, here's the work that you're going to cite. So like you guys did, Borkowski. And then it says, give the secondary source in the reference list. So you're going to put Cotter's work in the reference list as well. And you will find that in the back of Borkowski. So you need to make sure you put that in the reference list. Additionally, when you cite Borkowski, or I'm sorry, Cotter, you're going to say, in Cotter's study, blah, 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 as cited in Borkowski and the year. Okay, and that's really important that you do that. So make sure you look up, if you're going to keep using sources that you're finding in Borkowski, which you should probably start limiting more and more if you want to improve your writing skills, if you want to get published, if you're going to go back for your DNP. Start limiting using your textbook. Start getting other references. I will tell you that after my first semester in graduate school, I never, ever, ever, ever used my textbook. Maybe I did once or twice because they asked for something from the textbook, like a case study. But I found the rest of the concept support through research and peer-reviewed journal articles. Okay. And it's just because textbooks tend to be, first of all, they're references, and second of all, they're not as up to date. And that's just kind of a standard. So keep that in mind. Okay, so reasons why you will use a secondary source. So what I just do is I put APA secondary sources, and I go to the APA website. Oops, that came up as Amazon. All right, so apastyle.org, you're going to go here. So, use secondary sources sparingly. For instance, when the original work is out of print, unavailable through usual source, or not available in English, give the secondary source in the reference list in text, name the original work, and give a citation for the secondary source. So if Cotter's work, you can find the original print, you should use it as a primary source. And part of that is when you use a lot of secondary sources, you're basically saying that you are taking somebody else's word for it. You didn't do the research on your own. You're relying on one other person's research, namely Borkowski. So keep that in mind with secondary sources, and that is it for now.